It was about 9 in the morning when they crucified him. The inscription listing the charge read, "The King of the Jews." With Jesus they crucified 2 robbers, one at his right and one at his left. People going by insulted Jesus, shaking their heads and saying, "So you are going to destroy the temple and rebuild it in 3 days? Ha! Save yourself now by coming down from that cross." The chief priests and the religious scholars also joined in and jeered, "Ha! He saved others, but he can't save himself. Let the Messiah, the King of Israel, come down from that cross right now, so that we can see it and believe in him." Those who had been crucified with him hurled the same insult. Rock star, politician, professional athlete, of all the people Jesus could have been, he chose to become a servant for us. Power, wealth, divinity, of all the privileges Jesus might have grasped, he chose to take hold of a cross for us. Paris, Cancun, Bali, Los Angeles, of all the roads Jesus might have taken, he chose the one running through Jerusalem for us. Of all the people he might have died for, he did. When noon came, darkness fell on the whole countryside and lasted until about 3 in the afternoon. At 3, Jesus cried out in a loud voice, "Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani," which means, my God, why have you forsaken me?" A few of the bystanders who heard it remarked, "Listen, he's calling on Elijah." Someone ran and soaked a sponge in sour wine and stuck it on a reed to try to make Jesus drink, saying, "Let's see if Elijah comes to take him down." Then Jesus uttered a loud cry and breathed his last. Ridiculed by his enemies, outcast of his kin, deserted by his friends, God forsaken. The morning star of creation hangs, covered with the grit of the sins of the world. Nailed to the cross, the carpenter of Calvary repairs our brokenness that we might be restored to God's kingdom. At that moment, the curtain in the sanctuary was torn in two, from top to bottom. The centurion who stood guard over Jesus, seeing how he died, declared, "Clearly, this was God's own." There were also some women present, looking on from a distance. Among them were Mary of Magdala, Mary the mother of James the Younger and Joses, and Salome. These women had followed Jesus when he was in Galilee and attended to his needs. There were also many others who had come up with him to Jerusalem. As it grew dark, it was preparation day, that is, the eve of the Sabbath. A distinguished member of the Sanhedrin, Joseph from Arimathea, arrived. He was waiting for the reign of God, and he gathered up courage and sought an audience with Pilate and asked for the body of Jesus. Pilate was surprised that Jesus should have died so soon. He summoned the centurion and inquired whether Jesus was already dead. Upon learning that this was so, Pilate released the body to Joseph. Then, having bought a linen shroud, Joseph took the body of Jesus down, wrapped him in the linen, and laid him in a tomb which had been cut out of a rock. Finally, he rolled a large stone across the entrance of the tomb. Meanwhile, Mary of Magdala and Mary, the mother of Joses, were looking on and observed where Jesus had been laid. Feet that danced through the streets of Jerusalem welcoming the Messiah now softly pad the back alleys in search of shadows. Hearts that leapt with joy at the sight of David's true son are left shattered in Golgotha's rubbish. Hands that wrapped a newborn son in bright bands of birth cloth now shroud his broken body and lay him gently in death's manger. Where glad hosannas rang out, there is now only the silent, weeping heart of God.